Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I guess it's too cold to go to school, and it's too cold for mayors to trek down to the United Center for a meeting with BLM Brandon. It's too bad because that would have been the most excitement the United Center has seen this season.
Hey-ho.
Yeah.
They said the temperatures, are too cold, extreme cold, and wind chills 30 to 40 below zero. So it's safer to reschedule the meeting, but I don't think they're ever going to reschedule it because I don't think that's the reason why the meeting was canceled. I think because nobody was going to show up except maybe the mayor of Dalton, but she had to get her hair done.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I first of all, this Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, is a rolling thing. Secondly, BLM Brandon wants the suburbs to pick up some of the slack here, pick up some of the migrants, set up their own warming centers and migrant shelters. So he's going to have to communicate something, one would think, to mayors that he believes may be receptive. And also, I mean, the other piece of it, as we talked about it yesterday, boy, if I'm a mayor of a suburban community that hasn't completely lost its mind, and I think there's a few of those left, I would go down there or go to whatever meeting is called by Johnson and tell him exactly what my position is on behalf of my community. So there's that's an opportunity as well, so that everybody's on the record. Just so you understand, I'm Dan. I'm the mayor of Danville, and I'm coming here to tell you that we're not on your program in Danville. All right, and I don't mean Danville, Gene Hackman's boyhood home. I mean the fictional Danville. Anyway, so let's get some perspective. Even though the meeting's not transpiring, the issue is certainly not going away.
Oh, no.
Jelly Belly was in Iowa last night stumping for Biden. Ugh. We miss him so. Please come back and govern.
Yes, please. This is like watching him last night actually made me miss Governor Newsom. Like, I don't want to see him there. Find somebody else.
He was bemoaning Governor Abbott that to his chagrin, Governor Abbott was not moved by the letter that was sent. What a surprise there. All right, for more on all this, we're pleased to be joined by longtime Elk Grove Village Mayor. He is Craig Johnson. Craig, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Mayor Dan, thank you for having me.
Yes, Mayor Dan of the fictional Danville, the only place I can get elected. So what is your message to Brandon Johnson? The plea is going to be made. The suburbs have to pick up some of the migrants here. They have to do their part because we're a sanctuary state. He said it before. He'll say it again.
Well, I think we kind of made our messages clearer. My fellow mayors out here in the suburbs, we've been passing ordinances stating our position. Our position is we feel that the migrants should not be coming up here. They shouldn't be even coming into the country at this time. They should be following the federal government, should be resolving this issue first before anything happens. The sad part of all this is you're having local mayors resolve federal issues. That should not be happening. And that's why you see so many towns passing these bus ordinances. We passed one. We passed one about using hotels. We passed one about vacant buildings in Elk Grove. In other words, we have to take this on ourselves. But I think we sent a message to Mayor Johnson of Chicago, no relation, I don't know Brandon yet. I'm sure I'll get to meet him at some point. But we sent a message out. The problem we have here is we got conflict because some towns, some states call themselves sanctuary states, sanctuary cities. Well, fine. If you're a sanctuary city, then welcome them, take care of them, but don't complain. We have not declared ourselves that way. We call ourselves a town that follows the rule of law. The law that was successful 200 years. My family's all immigrants coming over from Europe. They followed the law back then to get in here, and the system seemed to work. Now There is no system. It's just a free-for-all, and it's unfortunate. But I think we sent a message loud and clear. I know a lot of mayors in this area I talked to were not going to go to Chicago because we all kind of agree. We made our stance. We are not here allowing that to go forward in our communities.
Well, wait, was anybody going to go to the meeting?
Not that I talked to, and the mayors I talked to, none were going. So, and I'm sure that was the problem going on. But again, I know I'm not saying I'm for Governor Abbott, against Governor Abbott, but I understand the situation he's in. Again, he did not declare Texas a sanctuary state. Yet he's got to deal with as many people Chicago's gotten over the past year and a half. He gets on a monthly basis in one town. And then we get upset that he wants to try to get some help for his state and his communities by spreading the impact to those towns and states that want the people. Fine, send them there.
Well, wait a minute. I'm old enough to remember in September of 2022, you opened up La Quinta Inn for migrants. So
No, we didn't open it up. The city of Chicago, without advance warning us, except for 2 hours, shipped them on CTA buses to our community. And matter of fact, we had a little standoff for a while there, Mayor Lightfoot, and the fact that we had to make sure we got some assurances about the safety, the backgrounds of these folks before we would even let them off the bus. We got some assurances from the federal government. They got off. They're supposed to be a 2 to 3 month stay. About 7 months later, we started having issues. There were some arrests, drug issues, alcohol issues, abuse issues. So needless to say, we made an agreement. They left our town pretty quickly, and we've had none since. They've attempted to come to our town twice in the past month. One dropped off a busload at a Love's fueling station here in Elk Grove at 12:30 in the morning. We were able to find these migrants' locations to go to out of our town. And then they tried, when they left Palatine about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when they left Palatine, they tried to divert into Elk Grove. We met them, and were able to escort them to a town in DuPage County. They put them on the trains and went to Chicago. So they've attempted things. And again, I've got nothing against people trying to better themselves, but just like Dan and Amy and me, we do it following the laws, following the way to do it. And I know they say, well, they're not illegal. What the federal government's doing is playing games, and it's not right because you're playing games with human beings. These people are human beings too, folks. They're not bad, all bad people. There might be some in there, but they're not all bad. And they're being misguided to what to do. Be honest with them. Say, stay where you're at, apply for the system, then come in per our system. It's worked for hundreds of years until the last 3 years when everything got screwed up by the federal government.
Yeah.
Go back to the system that worked. That's better for the people coming here, and it's better for us that are here. It can be a win-win. Think about this, Amy and Dan. You had people that left Venezuela. We all know that's not a great country. Here, they wanted to beg us to send them back to Venezuela. So what's that telling about what they're coming to here in America? Because we don't have a system set up that works. We had a system that worked for hundreds of years. We got to go back to that system.
Well, that definitely should be part of the message to BLM Brandon, too. It's obviously you have to represent your community and think about public safety and taxpayer resources, but also the message should be sent that, when you make false promises to people, that's predatory. You're the bad actors in this story, the sanctuary city politicians, not all of the migrants. We've said the same on this show, and then a lot of people who are otherwise well-intended, want a better life, kind of well-intended, are caught in the middle. But to your point about what triple threat Lightfoot tried to do to you in the previous administration, it seems to me that would be my concern is obviously Chicago sees all these suburban communities passing these ordinances as well. And so I don't think we're going to get constructive engagement with some of these mayors, so we'll just do it under cover of darkness.
Well, and Dan, you brought up a point. You say send your message to the mayor. Now, I don't have track of the mayors that responded, didn't respond. Obviously, I don't have access to that. But I think him canceling today sent a loud message. If it was due to what you said, the fact that not many mayors are going to go, it's not the weather. We're used to this weather in Chicago. Yeah. They sent the message. we don't agree maybe with everything you're doing, Mayor Johnson. Our towns are taking care of our towns the way we think should be taken care of. And again, you're right, Dan. You hit it right at the nail right on the head. If you want to welcome them, God bless. That's your ability as mayor of the city of Chicago or the governor of the state, areas he can control. He's got that right to do that. But if you're going to welcome people, then welcome them. Let them come in. And yeah, if it's 1 million people, well, you wanted them. They're there. You better take care of them. We don't feel that's appropriate, what they're doing. So in our communities, we're saying, no, that's not the way it should be done. We're not going to let them be welcomed because they now found the proper way of doing it, which was the way it was successful in the past. I'm here. I'm not sure about Amy, you, and Mayor Dan there, but my family's immigrants. My relatives talk.
Yeah, my grandpa came from Sweden.
Yeah, see, mine was Sweden and Denmark. And it took them 3 years to get through the process to get to America. But that's fine. They followed the process. They went through Ellis Island. The rumor in the family history is my name was Johansson. Went through Ellis Island. They said name Johansson. They wrote Johnson.
Right.
That was it. But they were in America, and they did it the proper way. Now it's not being done, and all you're doing is hurting a lot of good people, whether they're immigrants or Americans. It's not working what they're doing. And local mayor of Elk Grove should not be doing President Biden's job.
What
President
did
Biden do it.
what if Brandon Johnson rescheduled the meeting, but like rented out to the Avalon Banquet Hall in Elk Grove Village, bringing in a little business? Would you attend then? Could he?
Here's the bad part, Dan. The Avalon's been torn down.
Oh, it is.
Oh, see, you're so out.
Sitting in cold there.
I'm not hanging out in Elk Grove Village enough, apparently. Let's see what.
We could do it at the pavilion.
Oh yeah,
we have the Belvedere still too. We have
the Belvedere's there. Okay, all right, we could do the Belvedere.
But would you show up?
Here's the thing, Dan, that whole idea. Think about it. You're going to have, we were told in Chicago, if you had the mayor, it's going to be at United Center. And my understanding is the United Center holds 20,000 people, not counting the floor. We were told only the mayor could come. You can't bring staff. Well, if you have 20,000 mayors there, how much dialogue, give them back
20,000
can you make with 20,000 mayors? I mean, it's not realistic. I think the better way to do is to reach out and talk and get consensus. We talk. All of us mayors talk. So you talk to one mayor, he probably talked to 20 other ones. We could do it on a better scale that way than this. But the problem is this. Even he's having a problem in his town. The board in Chicago, the councilmen and women wanted to do a vote on if they should be a sanctuary city. Yeah, they won't allow that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a consensus in their own city of what should be done. Everything you see in the suburbs being passed, all the laws are passing unanimous, most part, in those towns. So the local towns are unified in their view and stance going forward. I think Mayor Johnson needs to get his city council unified with him on what their view should be before you reached out to other towns to partner with us to get something done. And the governor should be involved. I don't agree with him making the state sanctuary state. So we need to sit down and work it out with the governor too. But the bottom line is this: on all this, it's not our issue. President Biden needs to do his job and resolve this issue and resolve it right on both sides for the Americans and the immigrants. Do it right, make a system that works, and go forward. But in the meantime, don't just have open borders and let a floodgate come in. Like I say, I have empathy for my mayors down in Texas. I can't imagine here in Elk Grove, all of a sudden, 10,000 people every day started coming to my town expecting to live here and be here.
Yeah, especially if they're Scandinavians.
Hey.
Yeah.
Do it the right way.
Amy, they're picking on us.
I know. And I was
Mayor-
Jakobson.
Needs our vote.
Elk Grove Village, longtime Elk Grove Village Mayor Craig Johnson. Okay, no migrant shelters coming to Elk Grove. Craig Johnson, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for all your coverage.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Frank Vance, co-owner of Egan Vance Insurance Agency on Chicago's Northwest Side and a customer of Signature Bank. In my line of work, we pride ourselves on being there for our clients when they need it the most, and we recognize when someone does the same for us. As Egan Vance was expanding, we wanted to buy a much sought-after building in the neighborhood. We couldn't waste any time. I called Signature Bank, and that was all it took. I didn't have to talk to multiple people in siloed departments with multiple forms to fill out. One call did it all. As the one who was always looking out for my clients, It was a great change to know that my bank, Signature Bank,